Grrrr. Greetings, humans, greetings, and welcome back to another fun-filled episode of Bear here, 29-year veteran of the woods, and today, we've got an interesting show for you here today. Pardon, Bear, it is raining out in the woods here today. I just might hear a little bit of thunder in the background, but that's alright. The show will go on here. So let's go ahead and get right on into it. You know, sometimes we talk a little bit here on the show. You know, sometimes you don't come here to the show to know what's going on. You come here to know what's going to go on. Some kind of case in point here. A little bit of I Told You So out there. Talking a little bit about the Warner Brothers Discovery. They own the DC Comics out there. They recently had some issues with their report that they had, earnings report that they had out there. So we're going to get into a little bit of that here today. From Deadline, this is from Deadline, and let's see, Jill Goldsmith out there from Deadline. You know, some people ask, Bear, why do you do the Deadline stuff? It's basically a trade publication. The powers that be out there, the studios out there, kind of what they want people to hear, kind of their sort of press release out there. Miss Jill Goldsmith out there probably isn't putting a shoe leather to the asphalt out there, trying to figure out all this stuff. It's basically kind of a press release, but we kind of get a little bit of an insight of what's going on with some of their planning and might what be going on in the future here. So let's go ahead and get right on into it. Warner Brothers Discovery, it's down 15% after earnings debut as Wall Street sees, quote, a post-merger growing pains. Just bear with Bear here. We will get into the juicy matter here in just a moment here. Shares of Warner Brothers Discovery continue to fall on Friday. That would be down more than 15% after its first combined financial reports featuring a big net loss. Basically, what happened was Warner Brothers was actually its own little studio for a while. They were with AOL, Time Warner. Was there another name to that? I forget. Anyways, they were owned by AOL Time out there. Were essentially spun off or sold off. They kind of were their own little studio for maybe for a couple of years or something like that. They ended up being bought out by AT&T for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe they were big Game of Thrones fans or something. They sunk a whole bunch of money into it. They put in some very strange projects in there, and then turned right around and sold it to the Discovery network of cable TV shows out there. So if you've seen some of the Food Network or HGTV or some of those other type shows out, TLC, I think, some of the other stuff out there, you'll kind of have a good idea. So both of those combined together, what's called Warner Brothers Discovery, or WBD out there, I guess. Anyways, they had a big net loss. Disappointing plenty of people out there. Stephen Cahill of Wells Fargo downgraded the stock from equal weight to overweight. You fatty out there. Overweight. You lose some weight out there and cut his price target. The collection of assets is great, but outlook and guidance, quote, indicate a company is going through a lot of post-merger growing pains. Who would have thought? Who would have thought all of that? The numbers were released after the market closed yesterday and were followed by a very meaty call with the CEO, David, a bear can never pronounce his name, Zaslav, Mr. David out there, the CFO, Gunnar, for crying out loud, Fields. We'll go with that. We'll just go with Gunnar out there. And global, what a name, Gunnar out there. Global streaming head, J.B. Perrett. Presentation slides and Q&A were a start to understanding the new company, but highlighted the complex task ahead. Very complex. Basically, Warner Media's fundamental trends were weaker than management has expected. So what happened? What happened with all of this stuff? We heard some of these stuff out there earlier. They canceled the BatGirl. Bear didn't even know there was a BatGirl in production, much less pretty much in the can. They pretty much canceled that. Let's get right a little bit more into it. We'll talk a little bit about that. Hold on. Analysts have been pondering what the new entity would look like for over a year since the deal was announced. On Thursday, they finally got the long-awaited quarterly pro forma financials, which we've all been waiting for. To align models and establish a common financial blueprint that captures all the moving pieces and adjustments, said some guy at some place. It will take a beat to process. It will take. That's a terrible sentence. It'll take a little bit to process. Meanwhile, that guy says, we expect the elevated debt load, macro headwinds, and growing secular pressure from faster cord cutting, along with uncertainty around key strategic questions to be an overhand for shares. I don't know how you get overhand or overhead. Interesting. There we go. So, anyways, basically kind of the long and short of it here for everybody out there. If you're kind of if you're a DC either comics fan or DC movies fan out there, what the heck does all of this mean to me? Well, first off, unfortunately, if you're a Batgirl fan out there, your movie is canceled, and also let's see, what was the other thing? A Demonade. Looks like Lemonade out there from J.J. Abrams, also axed out there. But let's go ahead and just kind of get some numbers here. They had a streaming loss of over $500 million, $518 million in actual, 500, just a little bit more of 560 million combined, and expected to peak this year to post a positive $1 billion by 2025. Does anybody really believe that? I'm not really sure about that. When the combined company expects to have 14 million subscribers, or about 130 million. 14 million more subscribers, I should say, to combine to 130 million total out there. I don't know if that is accurate, especially with the previous statement, how they were uncertain about certain things. People were cord cutting all along, that sort of stuff. Now, again, cord cutting and streaming is a little bit different there, but take a look at Netflix out there to see what happens there. A gross debt of the entire company was just a minor $53 billion. No big. I mean, hey, who amongst us doesn't have just a spare $53 billion, lying around in the couch cushion somewhere? It is a hefty, but mostly long-term. I think Bear saw somewhere 15 years, something like that. Said Gunner out there, the company is looking to cut at least $3 billion in costs. Holy mackerel. And to spend carefully, a process that is underway. So what did they cut? Well, they've already axed Batgirl. I think that was in the 100? How they spent $100 million on a Batgirl film that most people didn't even know existed. It's just a complete waste of money. I'd never heard of Lemonade from J.J. Abrams out there. Probably best that it was cut. I believe he went over and signed up with Warner Brothers. They were going to be doing a number of projects out there. I think, if Bear recalls, they were supposed to do something from, what was it, Ta-Nehisi Coates out there doing a Superman movie? Don't know if that's going to turn out the way that people think it's going to. Or if it's going to come. When it looks at $3 billion in cost cutting, Bear kind of raises his eyebrow out there just a little bit. Kind of one of the things that we were actually talking. It's again kind of one of these I told you so kind of moments. Bear's been talking about the Warner Brothers Discovery stuff for, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, ever since they basically merged together. I've been talking a little bit about here and there, bringing up the Flash on occasion, probably going to either be axed. It's $300 million. How you get a $300 million Flash film? I don't know. $300 million, and they're either going to go back and do some reshoot. They have a number of issues with the star of the Flash movie out there. What's his name? Ezra Miller or something like that. A very interesting character out there, holding up on his illegal pot farm, stashed with automatic weapons and whatnot, and apparently holding some Native American young lady with him as well. Very strange stuff going on with that. So, Bear's thought is probably either cut it completely. Just go ahead and write it off. Again, you've got $53 billion in debt. So what's another $300 million? That's just kind of a very small drop in the bucket there. Or kind of Bear's thoughts might be is a lot of people are focused in on the two Batmans out there. You've got the Michael Keaton Batman and you've got the Ben Affleck Batman, and they're supposed to be in the same film, even though they have a completely different Batman with Robert Pattinson that's supposed to be in a completely different universe of some kind. Maybe, I'm not sure. Anyways, they were trying to finish up, I suppose, all of the Zack Snyder stuff. So that was the Flash movie, but Zack Snyder is no longer any part of the picture. Warner Brothers doesn't want anything to do with them, so why are they going to continue on with Zack Snyder's vision for just one film, but then go in completely a different direction with all the other stuff? Again, probably just the two Batmans. Make a short out of it or something like, maybe the two Batmans. That would be an interesting title. Put it up on your, what do they call that? The HBO, what the hell do they call that? HBO Max. HBO Max. I almost called it HBO Plus. Everybody has a plus out there. The HBO Max, probably put that, maybe do a couple little shorts. It'd be kind of an interesting kind of a multiverse of Batmans out there. Completely leave the Flash out of it. It'd be fine. Or just completely reshoot the entire movie. So that's probably another, I don't know, $150 million or something like that. So, once again, compared to $3 billion in cuts that they're going to be making here this next year, a very small amount. Again, they probably might not want to go through it. That's why Bear says it's probably done for the whole Flash movie out there. Joining a Lemonade out there in BatGirl probably would be the case. That would be Bear's guesstimation, but he could be wrong out there. So once again, Bear will leave some of the links for some of the previous shows in the description below if you want to check that out. But yeah, everybody's talking about it this week, and it's like, wait a minute, we've been talking about this for like 2 months or something like that. Of course, all this stuff is going to happen. So, once again, you want to go ahead and check out Bear's channel, not necessarily to see what's going on, but to see what's going to go on out there. Yes, indeed. So, Bear would appreciate the thumbs up, and maybe even a subscription out there if you haven't already subscribed. Yes, indeed. All right, well, you know what? By the way, I'll also leave the, if you ever want to fall asleep, if you have a trouble falling asleep, you need a little way to get there. Go ahead and check out a quarterly report from one of these large companies there, and it'll put you right to sleep out there, right to sleep. It's got all the numbers out there. Bear's not going. There's the Batman. The one shot that they actually have in focus. The rest of the movie completely. That's a whole other video out there, people, about the Batman. But Bear's, in Bear's opinion, the worst Batman out there. Made a whole bunch of money though. Go figure. Anyways, you can check that out. Bear will also leave the link for that down in the description. All right. You know what? All this talk about Warner Brothers, The Flash, all this sort of stuff, that's made Bear hungry. So he's gonna head back into the woods. So until next time, people. Grrrrr. Humans, thank you for watching this video. If you wish to have more, please like and subscribe. And don't forget that bell for notification. It would please Bear very much. You don't want to see Bear bad, do you?